All right, we're back out in the shop. We're gonna try to drop this on here. Too big. That's heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. But it's in really good shape. So, boom. Right? That's the plan today. I gotta tell you, I don't want to pick it and set it down too much because it's literally, it's like a 140-pound engine. They're bare. I mean, they're huge. So, what we'll do is we'll pick it up 27 times. Set it in there, pull it out. I think I'll just go back to the ground or on a bucket or something, so I'm not picking it all the way back up to the bench. Well, maybe I don't want to pick that guy. I'm dreading it because it's so heavy. Of course, it's not going to bolt right up. I got to build a plate, offset mount. We just got to figure out. Oh my God, it's so much in the way. Okay. Intake hits. Have to figure that out later. Have to figure that out later. And the trick is, take the gloves off. Don't drop any of these screws down the carb. That carb looks brand new. I don't want to pull it off. When your fingers are fat. So I think I've said it before, I am not a fan of hacking up these hoods. Anybody, you want to hack up hoods, you want to hack up hoods or whatever, cool. You know, anybody can throw any kind of motor in, slap it in, cut a hood out, big chunk, whatever. Anybody can do that. I think the guys that can put them in, do a clean build, you know, I can respect that a little bit more than guys just, you know, trying to get the job done. I get it. You know, if you don't have a tractor, which I do, but if you don't have one and you're building one, I get where you just, I need it running. I want it running. I want to ride it. I want to ride it. You know, I trust me, I get it. But in the long run, I promise you, that'll be a machine that breaks down all the time. You're always screwing around with it. I promise you it will. You don't believe me? Do whatever you want. I don't really care. I'll do what I want. And then, whatever, each to their own. So, somebody's had that off and then they put a gasket. It's okay. Like I said, each to their own. Do whatever you want. I don't care. All I know is that machine right there, the Charlie horse, is very, very reliable. I mean, very reliable. So, and I've got a lot of hours into it. It's an impressive machine. You know, the guys that put the time in, they can go ride. You know, stuff happens, but not very often. Anyway, that's my preaching. That's it. So, stock pulleys on when the motor comes or whatever are a 5 1/4. I am going to put a 6 on there. I'm going to put a 6. I mean, it's what I got. Hey, and that's what I'm going to do. Now let me guess, going to hit the oil fill. Oh, okay. Going to hit the condenser. Of course, I can turn that in. It's going to hit the condenser. That's fine. Let's spin that. Right, we'll turn that in as best. Actually, you know what, maybe I'll do this. Flip it, get it nice and low and in. Now, originally, I was going with an 18-horse twin that's sitting over there. Basically looks like the one that's on the Charlie horse. Charlie horse is a 22-horse, but they're essentially the same motor. These hydros just eat torque. I mean, they need it. Like it's hard to pump all that fluid and then have a machine that can turn the tires. So I found this, and I got such a good deal on this motor. But anyway, these opposed twins are just low-end torque monsters. They just are. With them pistons facing away from each other, the torque on them is just unbelievable. So it's really going to be the perfect motor for this hydro, because I'll never worry about you know, stalling out the pump, things of that nature. So it's going to be sweet. It's going to be perfect for this boat. We're in. I would say we're in, but boy, everything gets tight. Okay, so we're in. Now, this motor, I'm going to slide it ahead. So I got a little bit of room right now. I'm going to be as tight to that hood as I can without cutting it. Just like that. Let that motor fall out of there. And then that wheel in full lock will probably rub that case a little bit, but all right. Okay. I don't want the motor to fall out of there. I don't think it will. Boy, those two, that one almost lines up right there. Let's do that. Gee, I'm gonna hold that just so it don't fall off there. Now the other side is hanging out the damn frame. And I know that. Oh, that's not even a hole. That's a cutout. What the hell? So for now, I'm gonna put a washer on that. Now I'm sure it's not lined up in any manner, but I just don't want it falling off here when I'm moving stuff around. So the nice thing about these, or this Hydro, is the belt, there's no clutching, right? It's just a spring actuated idler. So you need minimal belt keepers. So I'll use these original bolt holes. I'll put a boss on it, or a spacer, whatever. And because there's no clutching involved, you don't worry about the loose belt around this. It's gonna be pretty sweet. All right, I'm gonna get this cover off. Maybe if I'm lucky, I got a belt that'll line up to it. Not to mention, I'm kind of digging the ease of everything on this course. It's a newer model, right? Mid 90s, early 90s, 520. So obviously they thought through some issues, but like just these side covers, right? And kind of fenders off like the old models. I always put my bolts if I can back in. Okay, so basically, well, that's a little wider back there because, so I'm going to have to cut that down. But it'll be good enough for now. So I gotta try to find All right, I got the motor setting on there. I had to turn the camera off for a minute. I did something else and then, you forget. But anyway, I had a belt. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't return. If I got a belt, I got so many belts. I don't know if you can see them way over there. I keep them all. And I just happen to have an 86 that's going to be perfect. It's perfect. Okay, so this and this are bolted down. They're bolted down into a slot. There's a little U-shaped slot. It's not going to be a big deal because I'll put a piece of metal across the open side of it in here. It's like slotted out like a U. I'll put a piece of metal across, I'll weld it, essentially making a hole. And when you come to the other side, you can see how far the tabs are hanging off, but that's not going to be a big deal because I think I'm just going to jam a piece of angle on here, right there, a piece of angle, and then that'll essentially, and I'll bolt that right to the frame there in some of them holes, and that will give me my other mount, and I'm golden. That's what I got for. I got angle everywhere, but so that's where we're headed. I feel like I want it to at least, shoot, I could take a piece of that old frame again. That's how much I need here. So, I need at least, 2 1/4 would make me happy. Boy, that's 2. Would 2 make me happy? I could deal with 2. I could deal with that. Now, the smart thing is I was talking about bolt holes and all that. So this frame has got a bunch of bolt holes in it from the old hangers and whatnot. Okay, there's 3 there. What's there, 5 in a row? And there's 3 there. Now that one has holes that'll match up. 1, 2, 3, and that one. I'll be able to get 1, that one, and that one. I'm going to take a measurement just to make sure. I'll be able to get that one
that one, and that one. Well, I could have that one too, but I think three's going to be more than enough. And then I'll leave it a little long. I'll be able to drill some holes in it, which will be nice. And I mean, we're mounted, just about. All right, so I pulled the motor off. I added this angle, right? That's essentially, so I drilled holes in it, laid it out. It's bolted to the frame. I was gonna weld it, but I'd rather not if I put something else on this. And anyway, so these two, you notice your frame has, well, let me see if I can, so it's a U-shaped notch out there. I'm not really sure what they're for. Maybe they're for bolts, I don't know. But anyway, it's a U-shaped, and basically what I did is I cut a tab and slid it all the way under that already had a hole in it. So now I have a 3/8 hole. I plug welded it. I did that. Plug weld, welded there. So now I got a mount. It won't hit the steering, nothing crazy. We're good to go. Now I'm gonna jam this motor on, and that'll be it. Actually, I'm only gonna pull them out twice, but we'll see. No joke, boys. There, 3/4 there. I just like to make sure it's all squared up. All squared up. I'll have to get a longer key. They just got that little teeny one there. Boy, who welded that? He's crooked as... I mean, I welded it, I'm being funny. Huh. I bet you I can almost get it. Probably not. Okay, motor's mounted, belts on. I don't know what I'm gonna do in exhaust yet. Whether I want to build a whole exhaust. Probably won't fit. That's awful. Oh. Well, lucky for me, I know that I'm getting a pipe bender for Christmas. So, I'll give you a little walk around. Show you what she looks like. Boy, it's big in there. It's big. I don't even know where I'm going to put a freaking battery. I'm going to have to slide one. I'm going to have to slide a small battery right in there. Wow. I got a pretty small one. I mean, I bet that one on the side horse would fit. Boy, it's tight. It is tight. But anyway, we'll stuff a battery in there. I mean, I got to wire up all this. It's coming along. I'm going to put that footboard on and that cover on, make sure on the other side, make sure everything's lining up like it should. I'm not going to spend all day on this thing. I've been spending a lot of time on it, so I'm going to relax. But I want to get that motor mounted, so she's mounted. Wiring on the Seahorse. So here's what I got. Well, there goes the key. Anyway, so I got a switch, okay? I've labeled it. We'll just go over some stuff to make it easy. Okay, so 5-post switch, right? Got 5 different posts on it. They're pretty standard. This is the one that came out, so it's still a 5-post switch, okay, but it's pretty crusty. So I had this one laying around, which is pretty clean. Still works. Look at that. Even got an old actual wheel horse key that I'm going to use. So they're, let's see if I can get this here. So the way these set, there are, oh boy. So the old one's bad. I can't even read the lettering on them. Anyway, we're not going to use this one because it's just so. Will it work? Probably. They're pretty hefty, but it's not even worth it. I will keep it as a spare. You just never know. So this one, might not focus. So you got A for this terminal. You got R. You got B. You got S. Okay, and then you got, if you can't see it there is an I right there. So that's for that bottom terminal. So what I've done is I've taken the wiring harness. Actually, this is a wiring harness off of something. It doesn't matter. So 5 posts, right? So that would plug into there. Okay. So then the corresponding letters are for certain things. So for example, that A, which most people probably know. But anyway, that A is this wire right here. And I've written on there, just to make it quick. So accessory or light, whatever. It's extra hot once the key's on. Okay. Then you come around to this one, which says an R. Okay. So R for rectifier. So it's the charging on the rectifier, and I'll show you all this. So it'll be the center post on the rectifier because the 2 other leads are for the coil itself for charging. And you come down here. Okay, I know this is hard to see. And I got B. Okay, B is the battery post on the starter. So wherever on the starter solenoid you got the battery hot lead going to, this one goes to it, because when you click this switch on, that powers, that's going to send power to your coil.
This one, or not your coil, it powers, I'm sorry, this draws power to the starter to power everything else. Okay, then you got, that was B, you got S. S goes to your starter solenoid, okay, to actually kick it over, right? It takes a signal from this. Oh, I need to start, right? Draws from the battery. And then the last one, which is I, goes to the positive side on your coil, okay? So that's where your coil gets its power through this guy, through the switch, sends it out there, and to the accessory. Anyway, so that's the basics of it. I tape them with it. It just makes it easier for me to remember than doing all this. So basically, we're going to put this in the dash. This one has to be in the dash to be grounded. But that's okay. So we'll probably jam it in the dash real quick, and then we'll go over the wiring on the track itself. So we got that in there. Stick the key in so you don't lose it. So now we're already halfway there. So the accessory has got doubled to go to something else. I'm going to unplug that because I'm not super concerned about the accessories right now because I don't have lights on. We got a long way to go. All right, so all right, starting off. I'm just going to go over these real quick. So this one is positive side of coil. Okay, so it's a green one. This one is going to run over to. So that's my positive side of my coil, which is this red wire and a black wire. I'll have to figure out which one it is, but it's one of these plugs here. Okay, so the positive side of the coil. Okay, then you got, that's that guy. You got the starter solenoid, which just goes to the starter solenoid. The one I want to accessories, no big deal. Positive on the battery post, but this one here, charging on the rectifier, should be the center post. So this right here, is your rectifier for your charging system inside here. On this, there's a plug. Let me see if I can get this off real quick. Let me see if I can. Come on. Okay. So, this is a 3-pin connector. Okay. So the two outside pins, I don't know if you can see that, the two outsides, which are these, that's a yellow wire and that's a yellow wire. They go inside to the charging coil where the wraps are of the copper wire. The center one is the one I'm concerned with. That center one is the other one for this one, okay? And that's going to be the center. That's going to be this one on our switch. So it's pretty simple. You can find any kind of, you can find schematics online. That's, you know, half the time I forget what the hell the numbers are or the letters are. So anyway, I label them real quick, then I'll tear the labels off. I don't need all that masking tape, but it just makes it easier because I would really like to get this thing fired off and basically make sure that we're running. Hopefully charging. I gotta try to stuff the freaking battery in here. I think it's going to be all right. I think it's going to be one of them narrow ones. I'll have to take some measurements. But anyway, so that's the plan today. Try to get this wired up. Maybe try to get some fuel to it. Or maybe that'll be tomorrow. But maybe just try to get this wired up temporarily just to see if this motor pops off and runs. If it does, I'll clean up the wiring and we'll go from there. Like I said, for now, you're gonna, when I wire this all up, you guys are gonna see there's gonna be wires everywhere and whatnot. It's fine. I will clean the wires up once I'm done. Once I make sure this thing fires up, runs, idles, throttles up, I'm good to go. I will rewire it or clean up all the wiring and then we'll go from there. Okay, let me start off by saying, do not comment about the wiring. This is strictly, I want a disclosure, strictly set up for testing. I have never fired this motor
So I'm just getting everything wired up very archaically. I just want to see if this thing will pop off, okay? And remember, we are also running 2 open headers, okay? So she's gonna, and they're short, so it is gonna pop, pop, pop. She's gonna be loud. But anyway, I've set up fuel tank. Again, that's just in there. Fuel line over to the pump. It may take a minute to prime. I always try to fire them with the, this is a smaller air cleaner because the other one's gonna hit the hood. I'm hoping I can draw enough air with this. If I can't, I gotta figure out something else. I always try to fire them up with the air cleaner on because A, you don't want to get anything down the car, but I also want that restriction that it's supposed to have. So we're going to hook the negative side up, which I got that here. I got it grounded. Okay, so we're gonna hook that up. And then we're gonna see if this thing's gonna fire off. These are old wires, so I just okay. So when I hook this up, I'm gonna check nothing is on fire, A, because that would suck. So you always wait for the blue smoke. Okay. This ain't even the battery I'm going to use. Choke. Maybe no choke. Come on, sweetness. Come on, sweetness. Okay, so that battery. Had to break out the jump pack. The battery's a little low, so we'll kick this on. This thing's gonna rip over fast now, so we'll see. Choke on. Right up. Wonder what it doesn't like. A little bit of a she's cold. Plus, it looks like a new carb, so I don't know who. Maybe a little more fuel. Come on. All right, I've got the final wiring done, right? A lot cleaner. I left the tags on there, we'll see. But anyway, solenoid's down underneath there. I don't have a battery yet. I'm gonna put it in there. It's gonna just fit. I'm gonna power this off the jump box. I just filled the trans full of fluid. Well, I shouldn't say full. I put some in it. It'll draw it up into the pump and into the filter there. The filter wasn't gonna work because I put this storage box in, so I had to punch a hole, and then I'll put something to mount that. I just want to make sure everything's good. I was able to use another one of those lines and kind of reform it. It's not the greatest. I guess we're in neutral. I hope it don't take off on me. I guess I'll just kill the key. So we're going to try to fire it back up, and I don't know. We'll see if it moves. I got nothing. No, I got nothing. Uh-oh. Look at it dead. If it's at ground. I'll try it without choke. Well, it works. Linkages. I gotta do some linkages. So we're at the point, which I filmed, we got this done. I got the belt cover off. We'll go over a few things. So I got open headers right now. I picked up 2 of these little cheap mufflers. Okay, they take a 1-inch MPT fitting. So I picked up this. Okay. A little screw into there. Okay. So I'll screw them in there, but before I do that, I'm going to cut this. And each one of these, we'll get a piece of it. I'll weld it to that. And then I'll have an exhaust. I don't like running it with them open like that. It needs a little bit of back pressure. So otherwise we're going to burn a valve out. Everything else is set. I mean, I showed the linkage. Possibly not. Okay, so I got my linkage set up. Okay. I think that's a shifter linkage out of a Harley, and I think so is that one. Anyway, so I got it to the centerpiece. Okay. I built a pedal. It's actually it's a clutch side pedal. Okay, but I flipped it over so the flat side's towards your foot. It brings it back some, so you don't have this weirdness. And then I got for your reverse forward, or you can put your foot on both and you can rock it back and forth, which connects. That linkage comes through the dash. Okay, all the way to here. And I've made this pedal. It's got a hole for a grease fitting. I'm going to drill it out, put a grease fitting in there. I might move the hole over to here to the center. And I got a locking collar I got to put on here so it don't slide. I'm going to drill through these and tap them into the rods here. That's the best way to go. These stupid clamps underneath are freaking garbage. Okay, we got a battery set up in there. It's tight, super tight, but I got it in there. So that's all in there. All the wiring's on, done. Come to find out, I've been doing some research. Got the intake and the shroud off a Magnum 18, and it's not a Magnum 18. It's a KT 17. Reason I know that is because external coil points and the other side. The shrouds are off that because originally these 2 holes would go to an oil cooler or oil filter. So this is not a pressure lube motor. Do I care? Not really. This thing isn't going to be on crazy, extreme hills, or like I said, it's built as a kind of spare machine. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut that pipe. I'm going to get the exhaust on it so when I fire it up in here, it's not crazy loud, and we're getting that. Quiet it down, a little bit of back pressure on it, she'll run better, won't burn a valve up. So that's going to be my first thing. So my back here, I got to trim these fenders because this thing moves a little bit more being a pivot one, and the wheels will catch it once in a while when I'm on it. Not a huge deal. I'll just feather these through, and then I'll feather this one through. I may just bend them out, which is what I did to the Charlie horse. I took this off and I knocked them out with a hammer and a block of wood, and that seemed to work. So I may do that. I might do that because it leaves the fender on there and it almost catches more mud underneath the fender and not on your back. So the brake works. centering it. You got to reattach the spring on the brake, but everything's there. So it's working pretty good. So like I said, I'm going to pull these those open headers off. We're going to cut that piece of pipe and weld one to each one. Then we got some mufflers. Does it feel like it's cross-threading? Or is that the one that dry? Wait, don't go on there very square. Dude, they don't look too bad. I like that. All right, here's the final walk around. Obviously, I've had it out. It operates really good. All right, you can see the pedal, forward, reverse, exhaust. Got some new hood latches on it, so the hood don't pop up, which also supports the center console. Linkages are all hooked up. This here, I don't know if you can see it, so that's spring loaded. So that get the brake off here. So that as I go forward, that's what recenters it. I don't know if you can really see it. Let me see if I can. Anyway, there's a couple bearings right there that I put. This has a V-notch in it, this piece, and I've retained it there, and I put a piece across at the bottom, way down there, and that's what this pivot's on. So that's the it's the auto return. So that it automatically turns by itself. And I think that was the last piece of the puzzle. I still haven't finalized the filter yet. I mean, it's there, but I got to put a piece in there. But other than that, it's done. I want to get the last video out. So should be out on the trails. We'll do a quick ride with it. Let's see how it goes. That's the end of this build. I don't normally do outros. I'm going to try to start doing intros. It is what it is, right? So it's it's built, it runs, it operates. I'm sure there'll be bugs to work out of it. I also, with the foot control is great. I think I'm also going to put a hand control that connects to the foot control in the future. That way if you're on some rocks, got to put a foot down, you can still operate the forward and reverse. I haven't decided that yet, but I think that might be something with the old engagement lever or something to that effect. But, you know, 3-inch stretch, built out of numerous parts. I'm pretty happy with the build, and it operates pretty decent. The kids were riding it around. So for those of you that watch the whole series, I appreciate it. I'm going to try to come out with some more build videos. I got an early, just picked up a late 60s Raider 10. It's in really good shape. I may sell it because I almost don't have the heart to cut it up. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just build it as a stock and you know, just to put it around the yard. I don't really need that. Like I said, maybe I'll sell it, but we'll see. I got a really good deal on it. So anyway, that's the end of the Seahorse. We're gonna get some lettering on it, but test and tune, you know, test the crud out of it, see how everything works. I got to put a center plate, you know, over the controls here, but I want to keep an eye on everything. So you'll see it out on the trails.